Do you then believe in a part of the book and disbelieve in the other? What then is the reward of such among you as do this but disgrace in the life of this world, and on the day of resurrection they shall be sent back to the most grievous chastisement. And Allah is not heedless of what you do. 86 These are they who buy the life of this world for the hereafter, so their chastisement shall not be lightened, nor shall they be helped.
Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. Sulman Rahim here, Master of the Covenant, Breaker of Seven Seals. I had a special broadcast prepared. Actually, it was a continuation from yesterday. Like I said, I'm doing several pieces, right? But I'm gonna talk about something different, and we'll maybe continue on that tomorrow. As the Master Prophet Muhammad said, you will not turn your thorough knowledge of self. I've been attempting to give you that, those who, we don't force anything on anybody. We're not trying to convince anybody. Just putting information out there, and those who receive it will receive it. But a little history. You have to know how the universe works. I mean, if you don't know how the universe works, then how can you know what you are, what you're doing, what to do, what not to do, or, you know, what's the meaning even of life? You say, what's the meaning of life, or what do you tell them? And many times they result back to some religion. They don't understand where religion came from. Because if you say, okay, I believe in Christianity, well, how long has that been around? Oh, I believe in Judaism, how long has that been around? Oh, I believe in Hinduism, how long has that been around? And what was before that? Then you get the problem, well, how long have people been on the earth? Well, did they have religion before Hinduism? The oldest one that you know of, the less tells Buddhism, but the oldest one you know of is Hinduism. You don't know of any religion older than that, unless you say they worship sticks and stones for it. But if they was, the further you go back, you get close to God, right? Because, I mean, you claim that God created us, so the further you go back in time, it means you get close to God, that actual creation. So what do they believe in? See, and nothing makes any sense. Because if you don't know how the universe works, you're lost. And many don't care about how the universe works. So I'm not sure you're going to understand this. But it takes energy for everything. And most of you don't even know that. It takes energy for everything. The universe is energy, pure energy. That's all it is, just energy. But it's energy that, right? The universe opens and closes, opens and closes, opens and closes. That's all it does. It gets small, it shrinks, and then it gets expanded. Boom, boom, comes down small, then boosts, and then just do it forever. It's always done it, always will do it. No one created it. That's just the way it is. Okay. So we're going to take a few things. I mean, see, it's hard to speak to our people on this level because they don't know basic mathematics. And the devil doesn't know how the universe works. He got some idea about Big Bang, which has some truth to it. So I'm gonna put the information out there and let you work with it. Okay. For you Quran people, it says earth, the heavens and earth was one, and then he expanded it. So according to the devils, right, the whole universe was the size of an atom. That means it was all together, then exploded. So both of them saying pretty much the same thing, right? Except the devil say, well, it's small as an atom. Well, if you can believe it, your whole universe is small as an atom, you sure shouldn't have any problem believing it's small as the earth. right? So all that out there used to be the atmosphere of the Earth, and that was the energy. So at that point, you know, we've been here forever, so we had no birth record. At that point, energy energy was off the chart. You can't imagine how much energy we had because all the energy was in the Earth. And if the Earth had, what would that be like? Okay. Then start expanding. But expanding, energy drop, energy levels drop. And when energy drops, it means things cool off. See, when you see some ice, that means almost all the energy is gone. There's a little energy in there, but almost all of it is gone. See, when you get absolute zero, that means nothing's moving. It's absolute, right? So things slow down, right? Have less energy. So as we move on, but it takes energy to think. So if when the Earth was totally contracted, we the gods, we have. I'm trying to just keep it simple, brothers and sisters, because I want to get into how the consciousness works, all that kind of stuff. That takes a long time to do that, and I've got a presentation to explain that. So I'm gonna just get a general picture. So as Finn wrote, we have less energy. So our minds have less energy, our brains have less energy. So our knowledge, right, that's mental, our universe becomes less and less and less. So it became so less about 50,000 years ago that we stopped understanding how it worked fully. Well, that's where religions came in, because then you're trying to figure out, you have ideas of how it works. Even if you put in a book, it doesn't matter, because still no, you got to understand the book. And our conscious level dropped. It kept dropping as the universe. We call it energy deprivation. It means you don't have enough, you lose, you're being deprived of energy. We're not deprived all of energy, because that means you're dead. You get in a system of energy deprivation where you're losing energy and you don't have enough energy to maintain things. It takes energy to maintain civilization. It takes energy to bat your eye. It takes energy to go to bed. It takes energy to talk. It takes energy for everything. Everything, period. There's no exception to that, because everything is energy. What makes us the gods, and angels too, to a degree, that we can manage the energy. That's the difference. We can manage it, give it form. And that's what happened, because the devils, if you study what they say, they don't understand why the universe has form. They said it just blew up. It should just be a cloud of gas, a cloud of energy out there. So where the stars and stuff come from? Yeah, if you study, that's what they said. Unless they change it, that's to my study, that's what they were saying. Because we did all that, like I said, we did all of that. Right? When our mind levels and brain levels was on that level of mathematics. But 50,000 years ago, the energy dropped so that we got off the level of mathematics and we started moving into conjecture, trying to figure out how things work. Because we didn't have the brain power to keep. So that's how religions came in. And religion got worse and worse and worse, trying to understand it, until Christianity is the worst of them all. Because it has no connection to what happens, how the universe works. None. All this conjecture, is all this mystery, everything is you have to deal with faith. No knowledge of anything, how anything works. Nothing, zero. You can find anything there to tell you how the universe works. No, nothing. Not even how you work. That's the knowledge level we drop to. So let's go into a little. Let's go into a little deeper into that. Now the universe started expanding again, because at that point we was down to our lowest. We had total lost control of ourselves. We had the devil's in control. See, okay, when you got that low, but say for instance you get down to where you can't afford, you get down to where you can't afford a Lamborghini no more. But you can afford a BMW, right? You get down that level. So it's then you get really down, and then after a while, You can't afford the gas and everything. The only thing you do is just have it. You don't have you got money to put gas in. You got money to put in the garage or anything. You just, but you got one, but you can't do anything with it. Can't drive it around anything. So you go in there, if you can go in and get you a Volkswagen Beetle. See, because if you make $1,000 a day or a month, well, $1,000 a week, of course, $1,000 a week to maintain that BMW, then you have no money for anything else. I mean, the main thing, you have money for gas or anything. You have money for food, anything, or you just got that. So they said, okay, well, I'll go and get me a Volkswagen Beetle. It only cost me $100 a week to maintain. Oh, wow. Now I got $900 disposable income. Now I could move around, I could drive around, vacation, everything else. But that's what we did. We got down to that level. We put Adam into existence. He's the Volkswagen Beetle. He's a grafted version. He's a two-dimensional. We three-dimensional beings. He's a two-dimensional being. So then he could rule. So let Adam move. Yeah, but look, see. But he ain't got all the options that we have. He's make me shed blood. He got all the options, man. Say the BMW is made of steel. This thing is made of plastic. You bump into something, it's gonna crash, right? It don't have all the safety features like if you get close to something, you're beeping, so it crashes all the time. It's always fighting, crashing because it don't have any safety features. You know what I'm saying? But it can move around, it can do things, it can rule where you can't. That's what God told him. Said, "Hey, I know what you know now. Just submit to him, because you can't do anything with him. So submit to him." That's where that comes from. So that, and he would rule it, right? But now we're coming out of it. So the last 5 years, I'm going to show you that 5-year period of medical, there's a cycle. After that, we start coming out of it. So we start coming out of it. We was at the bottom at 1860. We was at just for Civil War. We was gone. We was almost extinct as a people. They had totally ripped. I mean, we have a name, we have a religion, we have what they gave us. And then we had us loving what they gave us. Yeah, we love you, Mazda, right? And eating chitlins, and yeah, hey, man, chitlins are good. Because that's what chitlins are. Chitlins, that's what they called it back then. Right? They raping our women, raping us. Good morning, yeah, hi, good morning, Mazda. You don't want no damn good morning. But you better say it, you got your ass whooped. Okay. They raping our women, tells to hold the women down while they raping them. But we couldn't touch them ourselves. That's how bad it was. It was even worse than that. I don't want to go into all the details, but it'll make you sick. It make me sick even think about it. But we start coming out. That's what's so called. So they didn't free us. We start being energized. So we start bringing about the situation. You don't realize it, but we start bringing about the conditions that brought about Civil War, that broke those chains. So we started rising, we rose up out of the fields. See, we didn't control this whole situation, we just ain't conscious of it. It's like you're sleepwalking, you're walking around, but you ain't conscious of it, you're walking around. I know when I was a child, my mother told me, she passed when I was 9 years old, right? And we lived in Waverly Avenue, Newark. And like the flats, the straight flats back there, each room was straight. I know you don't know what a flat is, right? I don't know if they make houses like that. I don't think they make them like that anymore. Maybe they do. But you got the kitchen, then you got the bedroom, then you got the living room. It's straight through. It's like a hallway. And so, me and my sister, we sit in the same bed, right? And she's a year younger than me. And so there was a kitchen, then us, and then my mother and father's room, and then I think the living room. I think that's where it was, something like that. And she told me, she said, and I didn't know I was doing that. She said I would walk, I would walk to the bathroom, because the bathroom, and then the kitchen, and then my room, my sister's room, then their room, then right. So you can see right through the way the bed was set up. And there's a door between each one. Your door's open, you see right through it. And she said, at night, I would go to the bathroom, right? But I urinate right at the door. I was doing that. I was sleepwalking. So I would go. I wouldn't be in the bed, but I would go right there at the door, right at the door. We get in, go inside the bathroom. But anyway, you're doing things, but you're not conscious of it. Because right now, I'm trying to explain. I'm going to be going to that a little more later, right? That we're all connected. We're just not conscious of it. I try to explain like, we all in a room and everybody's talking, and you can't hear yourself think because everybody. Why is that? Because you hear everybody else's, and so you say, "Man, I'll be quiet, or can I?" Right? Because right now we all connected. We're one body. We're not connected with devils. We have empathy for them. We're not connected to them because they have another body altogether. But we're all one body. The problem is that we can't distinguish our thoughts from everybody's thoughts. So we think the things we think. I mean, our thoughts are primary because they're closest to us. But we're still infected by everybody else's thoughts that we're picking up. But we don't realize it because we think they're our thoughts. So what we're thinking right now is a combination of everybody's thoughts around us. Now, I mean, the whole planet, actually, because our thought reaches the whole planet. Right? But the further we are, the less impact they're going to have. And that's a fact. So the problem is, you got to discipline yourself to the point where you can distinguish your thoughts from theirs. That's what I call it, tuning in. Those of you know those old radios, right? They tune it, because you go through, you hear static, and you keep on tuning. You got to fine tune it so you get the actual station. Then you hear the station. Otherwise, right off it, you hear static. You got to be right on it. And so you have to get enough discipline. So then you realize this is your thoughts, and other thoughts you're picking up as other people's thoughts. And then you can say, "Oh, that's thought from that person, that thought from that person, whatever." That's tuning in. But you was connected all the time. You just can't distinguish yours from everybody else's. So I want to talk about that a little more later. But the point I want to get to right here now is, okay, all these different things, ideas we have. Right? It's like muscles. You got different muscles for different things, right? You don't use a hand to walk with. You use your legs to walk with, your feet to touch, right? And the brain, if you want to calculate, or you want to talk, or you communicate, or you want to whatever, right? Read or whatever. Well, those are different functions of the brain. Allows you to do all the different things. But it takes energy. So the energy drops, you start losing the ability to do some of those things. That's where we were. We got to the ability, we couldn't read, couldn't do anything. Couldn't lost the ability to do those things. The ability to even desire to want to read. That takes energy. To want to be friends. You want to take care of your children. That takes energy for all that. And so your brain has all that ability to do those things, right? But you don't have enough energy, so you're not doing those things because you don't have enough energy. Maybe the only thing you can think of right now at that point is just surviving. Just surviving. Okay? And we got down to, it got that so bad, that's all it was just about surviving. And so they caused animals and everything else. Remember, they Volkswagen Beetles. They walking around, and they had the ability to do those things. But the problem is, they had the ability to do things they could do. We didn't have the ability to do things that we could do. They had the ability to do things they could do because Volkswagen Beetle don't have all the options. But they can operate all the options they have. We got a lot of options. We couldn't operate the options. You understand? We had options, but we couldn't do anything with them. Couldn't turn the radio on. Couldn't turn the air conditioner on. Couldn't turn any of that stuff. We had options. They don't have those options, but the options they do have worked because they had the energy for it. You understand? That's why they was put in charge. So they have energy to put have a nation. They build up a government. It was a weak one, a bad one, make men shed blood, but bad water is better than no water. See? So they have a wicked reality. They have built a wicked reality, a two-dimensional one, right? And they could control, but it'd be weak. They'd do it in a wicked way because they're wicked people by nature, but they could still do it. We didn't have the ability to have a nation. to have a government. If we don't, well, I'm gonna use the word government. I use it very loosely because we didn't have a government before we came here. Because when we get back home, we don't have a government. Government is something that's aspect of this type of reality, right? But anyway, the point is that they could rule and we could not. They could maintain civilization, we could not. See, it's a bad one, but they can maintain some kind of control, some kind of rule. That's why they was getting ruled. And then you say, well, what you gonna do? But you submit to them because that's the season. I'm gonna try to get in that later on too. Right? So if you understand that, then we get to the point of energy management. Because we had the power to manage the energy that we have, but we didn't have much energy, so nothing. If you don't have no money, there's nothing to manage. But when you start having money, then you can manage it, but you might, it's very difficult. You got, man, I ain't making that much money, man. Now you got to really juggle it around because you got you got a little bit of money, but man, you really got to budget it. I said, well, man, I can't eat. I ain't got enough money to eat today, so I guess I can't eat today, right? Because I got to take and pay the car note. See. But you get more money, then you say, well, I can eat, but man, I can eat steaks, man. I got to give me some, right, some hot dogs or something. See what I'm saying? So, but as you get more, you can do more with it. Okay. But that depends on how you manage it. Because now you got, say for instance, you get enough money, now you have enough money to drive around that BMW, right? But that means you gonna have to miss your rent payment. So it's tricky. Well, I'm gonna make payment. I'm gonna drive around my BMW. See what I'm saying? Because now you got that dilemma. Before you didn't have money to do either one, but now you got nothing. So well, I got to decide which one I'm gonna do. See, it gets more complicated. But the point I want to get to right here is this: it's how you manage it. How you manage it, because now you have enough energy to do certain things. Like I said, now you have enough energy now, right, to read, to think, maybe even get out of religion, some mathematical, but you take energy for that. So you have energy to do it, but do you use it for that purpose? Or you say, man, I'm gonna give me another BMW, man. I'm gonna give me another apartment, man. See what I'm saying? That's why I said those love this world's life. There's no point in the hereafter, because you're stuck on this, so you doing that instead of using and keep. Say Allah loves those who purify themselves, right? It means you keep on. What do you mean purify yourself? It means you keep on investing in yourself, invest in yourself, because you got all this ability that you ain't used to using because you've been down here on this two-dimensional level under rule of this two-dimensional people, and so that's all you know. And so now you got more energy, so now you want more two-dimensional stuff. Oh man, I want me a car, man, I want me a house, see? So if you do it, then you cling to the earth when you could be lifted up. Because because you're stuck here. And so you might have remember it takes energy to love your brother, love your sister, to want to be around your people. It takes energy for that. Energy to build a nation, to work together. And so you ain't doing any of that stuff. Energy to study, you learn mathematics, because hey, I want to party, man. I want to go see Jay-Z, Beyonce, Oprah, because that's what you do. Because actually you've been taught for 500 years, right? That's the way you should put in that, and that's why because remember, you're under the control of someone. This their reality. It's the only thing they can entice you with is this reality. They can't entice you with other because they don't know anything about it. See? There's an American dream. That's this reality. When you really moving up to the second floor, you can go to the second floor. They can't go to the second floor. They're stuck on the first. They don't know anything about the second floor. But you can't. But you don't. But you have to use your energy to climb those stairs. But you better use the energy to stay down here on the second floor and get more of it. On the first floor, get more of it. So it gets down to how you thinking, how you motivated, how you acting. Because it takes energy for that. So somebody come and like I say, you can tell them about the angel, they can look at it, but they don't do anything with it. Because they're not applying the energy to that part of the brain that tell them to do something with it. See what I'm saying? Because they ain't gonna come out of nowhere, you ain't gonna just want to do it. So you gotta cultivate it. Now some people do it naturally. Like I was a kid, I was naturally purifying myself. I didn't know it. I just wanted to learn, study. I was usually, well, I mean, there might be reasons for that because I didn't have, my energy wasn't diverted in the family because I had no family. My father and mother was gone. My father and mother was going 9, father at 14. Just my little sister. We had no relatives or anything that really gave a damn about us. And so energy wasn't directed towards family and stuff like that. So, that's unfortunate, but that's probably why those things were being developed. I didn't realize that what was happening. Right? But I'm saying, you have to manage your energy. That's what trying to teach you how to manage your energy. So when you do that, then you have to, because it's not going to happen by itself. You're not going to say, oh, I'm just so thought. No. That's why you got to learn the process. That's why you got to go through tribulation. That's why you got to learn in, because it start open the door till you start learning the process of getting through the door and getting up the ladder. See? Because those things are going to turn up by itself. It takes energy for those things. It takes energy to be motivated. It takes energy to start looking for hearts, looking for being with your people, want to go home, reading Abrahamic covenant. It takes energy for those things. And if your energy is being pointed in the wrong direction and you doing that way, then you never see those things. And so somebody come and say, hey, well, that's not going to mean anything to you. It's not going to mean anything to you. I'm trying to get real deep into what the energy management is all about. It's not going to mean anything to you. So why are they acting like that? Why do they walk around brazen? Why do they get pants hanging down and everything else? Well, it takes energy to think, to realize something wrong with that. So your energy level is lower, so you don't see anything wrong with any of that. That's they gonna see perfectly all right to you, because you down here in the mud, and you spend your money, you spend your energy on this bullshit reality. It's two-dimensional reality, because you're used to it, or right, somebody's got you under so much control that you just, you understand what I'm saying? So you don't jump up and say, wow. So if you see the angel, right, okay, that's one thing. That means you had a little energy, because you had to have energy to see it. See some of it. Yeah. So what are you doing once you do that? Are you invoking the magic, the process of going, or you just have enough energy just look at it? Yeah, I see it. I can recognize it, and that's just the energy of that. That's all you got. Because your energy is someplace else. It's energy management, brothers and sisters. So let's look at another thing here. Now, when, Farrakhan told the originator, he don't know what he's talking about. But we're the originator. We are the originator. Allah is here always. We are Allah, like the Quran. Let's say, but you don't know how that works. See? Because Allah is one, but keeps saying we. How does that make sense? Allah in the best knower, but they keep saying we. So I'm going to try to give you say for instance, if it was possible, I don't know if you know what cloning is, where you take a cell and you take that cell and take a cell from an animal and then you make the cell grow. Now if you take a cell from a sheep, they could do it, that's a cell, because it has all the information, all the DNA in it, just a cell. And they take it, they put it in a dish, whatever they do, how they make it grow, and it grows into a sheep because it's like a seed. That's what cloning is. Look it up. So say for instance, somebody could just take all your brain cells. Say you got 1 billion brain cells. If take your brain and separate all the brain cells and cultivate them, right? So now it's me and you running around here. I said 1 billion of you running around here. It's your brain, but it's in that form now. That's why the choir said we give you your backs. So I know you don't pay attention to these things. So we gave you your back. Because before, when the brains all together, they didn't have any backs. It was all connected. But if you put them like that, now they have backs. So they look like they're independent, but they're all part of the brain. And the brain is still conscious. It's just, right, it's moving right. It's, it's still. It's just, the brain cells are independent. Look like they're independent. They're not independent. They may think themselves independent. They're conscious too. If you can imagine that. Right? So now here you are, right? Your brain, now here you are. You're moving around, doing all kinds of things, right? Because each cell is doing their thing, right? Because you're controlling the whole affair. But now look how much more power you have. Because now you got a billion of you running around here, and they're all connected. That's your brain cells. You're still thinking like you was thinking before, but you're more powerful now. Why? Because each brain cell out there, they got a body, they got hands, they got feet, so they can do all kinds of things. So I don't know if you're catching this, bro. It's hard to explain it. Because when I keep saying we're one body, that's what I'm saying. We're one body. We're cells of a body. I said it many times. I just never explained like I'm explaining it now. Because it said that wouldn't reveal to you until 7th inch about the sound, which I know you don't understand what that means. Right? That's why it says Allah is He who comprehends all vision. Because if you was that, like I just told you, right? That each one of your cells have eyes, right? So now you just, instead of seeing what's in front of you, you see everything that they see. All the guests, that's what you see now. You see everything. Front of you, back of you, everything. Everything they see, you see it all at the same time. So that's a whole different type of vision, isn't it? You're holding everything. Everything. Everything they see, you see. Everything here, you hear. All see. Look how powerful it is. Because they all your brain cells, but look how much, now that they got all those features, they can do much more than they was before. You understand, brothers and sisters? And that's where we are right now. But it's the same thing that applies that brain is applied I was telling before. Because the energy gets down, right? The brain cells, right? Have less energy, they become unconscious. The brain may stay conscious, but the same brain cells, individual brain cells, become unconscious. You're still moving around, they just ain't aware of it anymore. You're still moving around, they see your brain cells, you're still thinking. You ain't thinking as powerful as you was before, but you're still thinking. And now they're not conscious that they're part of this brain. They're still moving their legs, everything, because you're moving it, you the brain moving their legs, arms, everything else. They're not conscious of being a part of this brain. And then as the energy starts increasing, gradually they become conscious of it again. That's why I say everything returns to Allah. That's why I say these things. But the problem is, there's a factor there that has to be observed. Because they become, when they come back, remember they was conscious of this whole thing before energy deprivation, but they had discipline then. But you remember, energy takes discipline. So as you start getting energy again, you will become aware of this consciousness that you tapping into, you're part of, because the brain's conscious, you're conscious of the brain, you just can't see it. You can see through your eyes, you can't see, you can't see that brain, Because when you want to see it, look at all your individuals around you. You look at all the brain cells. You can see all the brain cells, all the people around you, they're brain cells, but you can't see the whole thing together. Yeah. So now you get energy, but you have to have discipline, right? To get back on the mental, mathematical, to be able to tap back in there again. Otherwise, you're like an animal or something, because you're not tapping back in again. So you be conscious aware. Because once you become aware, that's called tune in. Because everybody can tune in now. So now you aware of this, you aware of everybody else. You tap into this mind, this brain. So you're tapping in there. Look how wise you are, because now you're tapping in. We don't have to go to no schools or anything, because knowledge is all. That's why we don't have to invent anything. Because we can actually see into the future up to a point. We use a separate thing, but you can actually, because like visions, like I had visions when I was a child. Why? I wasn't having visions. Because I was tapping into this brain temporarily. When you have a vision like that, that means you did something or whatever, and all of a sudden right? Oh, you got briefly woke up for a second, went back to sleep. Because I had those visions. How did I get those visions? They come from me, personally. Because I was, right? Or maybe that mind sent me sick, whatever. But it takes energy for that. Energy for everything. And that's the thing right now, to return back to Allah. Because look, you're part of the body, you're part of it. That's something that you got to worship or anything. You are it. You are Allah. My brain cell is me, ain't it? Ain't my hand me? Ain't my foot me? All of me. Just in aspects of me. Hope you understand that, brothers and sisters. The reason I'm saying this is because to tap back into that, we have to also use it. The key to get back into that is discipline. That's why it's called a tuning in. Because right now you you're affected by this, like I said, but you're not tuned in, so you can't tell, you can't distinguish who you are from who everyone else is. So your thoughts, you think they're your thoughts. No, they're a mixture of everybody's thoughts in this whole brain. And when you discipline up, then also now you distinguish your thoughts from theirs. That's tune in. Now you can tune in these individuals. You say, me, individual. So hey, I know, and then you send a message to them. They send a message to you, talking back and forth, because they know who you are, you know who they are. The devils can't tune into this because they're not a part of our body, and they can't. They have their own brain, but they can't tune in anyway because they don't have the discipline to rise that level, right? So they have vision stuff every now and then, but they can't actually get in and tune in. They can't get there because they don't have the. Well, you could teach them discipline, but it'd be very difficult, right? But then it's like they're a whole different nation. So the thing is that the point, the point I'm trying to say here is that you have to take and get hold of that discipline, and that's how you start opening the door to start connecting back to your nation, to Allah, who you are. It sounds complicated, don't it? Connect to Allah, and you are Allah. See, like all those brain cells with them out. Hey, what's your name? My name is Abdul, whatever. Yeah, that's who I am. But you also part of that brain. You're also the brain. Your brain cell, my brain cell, my brain. That's the mystery. And when you understand that, I don't want to go a lot of details, You understand that? That means that tells you what the Quran says. You have everlasting life. Because you have a certain DNA code, you have a certain brain cell, and that's where brain cells work. That's where all cells work. They upgrade, right? How they upgrade? They die in the form they are and upgrade to the next one. Every time a cell dies, it's replaced by an identical cell. It just upgraded as time keeps changing. Because the universe keeps changing, so the cells have to keep upgrading to keep up with the changes. Otherwise, right? You got a cancer, you rot. So I hope you understand some of that, brothers. It's like, so that's what tribulation is about. That's why events are happening right now is war. Right? I'm gonna get another point in a minute. I'm not gonna get to other stuff. See, I'm not gonna get to that now. Mass getting ready to destroy one of the things holding you down that you're clinging to. That's this American dream. Because that war over there is going to cause, right, this economy to collapse. That means it will cause all other kinds of situations, but the American dream will not be available to you anymore. So you're going to devote your energy to that. Now, whether you take and devote it into this or not, it's up to you. Okay? I'm just giving you the information and the key to get out of here. I ain't asked for anything. It's a free gift. You already earned it. Now, whether you want to take advantage of it, that's you. Right? So that's the way it works, brothers and sisters. You have to get control of yourself. Because right now, the devils have control of you. They want to maintain control. Let's talk about personification. Now, when I talk about personification, like I said, I'm not going to go into all. I'm kind of diverted from actually what I was going to talk about. But this is all of it's important. But see, personification is something only gods can do. Angels have some, but they do that at the direction of gods. So angels do it, they follow the command of gods. Because the concept of every action has an opposite reaction is universal, it's the fundamental principle of the universe. Every action has an opposite, that's fundamental. That's the most fundamental law there is. That's a law in essence, if you want to say it. Because that's consequence. Every action has an opposite equal reaction. That's consequence. That's the most fundamental principle. There's no principle more fundamental than that. You just have existence and nature of existence. It's two fundamental principles. Energy, that's the nature of everything, that's it. And the fact that the mathematics of nature says every action has opposite reaction, period, that's it. Those two most fundamental things, you can't get past, no exceptions to that, ever. By no one, anyone, no, God can't do it, no one can do it. God can't get rid of it, can't create energy, can't destroy it, right? He can't stop the universe from expanding and contracting, right? He can't destroy consequence. But he controls consequence. That's the difference. That's called delay. And the way I give it, I says, it's an eye for eye, tooth for tooth. I punch you in the face. Consequence of that be pointed back. Then that's justice, equal. But see, it's two natures, two ways. Every act has opposite reaction. So, for instance, if the universe was just, like they say, just energy, you did something, okay, you get a consequence. So it's, if you stole, you took a million units of energy for someone, then you're gonna lose a million units of energy, because that's the balance. And everybody gets the same amount of energy every day. No, everyone gets. We get. The Earth produces energy for us, momentous in the heavens of Earth, but it comes above us sudden. So the energy is absorbed by, and the universe is contracted now, and it comes back in waves, approximately 50 years. I'm not going into that right now, but I got plenty to explain it. And so it absorbed by the earth, and the earth produced, because we get everything from the earth. Earth energized and produce energy we can use. We can't use it in the form just come like that. Food and clothing and water and all those things, that produce, that we get out of earth, right? Okay. So it was just a nebulous situation, in other words. So if we get the same amount, every individual gets a certain amount of energy, and even devils can say that. But like I said, it depends on. I say everybody get $1,000 a week, but my expenses is more than theirs, so they have more money for the expenses. So like devils, they made the rule because they had less expenses. Since we gold by nature, right? It took a lot to maintain us. So all the money we had. We just had no money to maintain. It's not enough money to maintain a family, anything else. They had money to maintain family and everything because they was like Volkswagen Beetles. Right? So that's what Sukran is telling you. So if you get $1,000 a day, right? That's the balance. So if you take $300 from someone, now you got $1,300. You got a negative balance now because you got $300 more than you're supposed to have. $1,000 is your balance. So you got now that $300 come you all kinds of ways. It come you, maybe you fall, you get a cancer, you get, you're going to get negative. And without any intervention, it's going to be instantaneous. Because every opposite reaction is instantaneous. However, because we personify everything, like, we didn't have to make the devils. If we had not made the devils Abner rule, then we still caught all the hell we caught. We just caught a different way. So we've been fighting each other over food, because remember, there was less food and everything else. We do all kinds of things, and it would be chaos, because we didn't have money to have a civilization, so it'd just be all for one. Free fall. But like Adam, then okay, they control the situation, so now we personification. So we can see the negativity that we would suffer under this vision because it comes from them. So we can see it. Otherwise, we got it from famines, disease, all kinds of things, that we don't know where it's coming from. But now we know it's come from them. That's the power of personification. That's why we personify everything. And why am I saying that? Because we had the power to do that, and even Adam has the power to do it, right? That means you can delay consequence. That's it. They can do it. Not officially we can. They don't even know they can do it. We can do it. So that explains why it tells us that they would afflict us. So they was giving us. We're supposed to serve them for 400 years. But affliction, they would be judged for because they went above. In other words, if we had to get them $300, right, and so that was justice. So we had to give them or say we got 1,000, we had to give them a whole 1,000, right? So we didn't have nothing because we had to give them a whole 1,000 we got a day. Had to give it to them, right? Okay. So put it another way, say they only need $100 to maintain themselves, right? And we need $1,000 to maintain ourselves. Suppose we got 1,000, he got $900 in disposable income. We have nothing, right? Because we got to use for ourselves. But if we give him $900, it's a balance for him. See? Because now he got 1,000, so it's about him, right? See what I'm saying? And that's for us. Hope you understand. I need to adjust that math a little better, but I'm just getting a basic idea. Okay. So they afflict us because they took more from us than normal. So they got to pay for that. But that's what we're told to submit. Because by submitting, then we don't pay them, we dam it up. Because remember, if they did to us and we can do it right back to them, that's justice. For our universal concern, that's justice. They beat us, we could beat them. And if we didn't submit, then that we'd have been in a totally fight with them the whole time, the whole 4 years. In total fight with them, because every time they did something, we'd do it right back to them. That had been justice. It'd been total free fall. So that would have took and obfuscated what they were supposed to do. They were supposed to rule. So if we did that, then it'd be hard for them to rule, because they were ruling, constantly fighting with us all the time. But if we submitted, then they could rule, but all that consequence was building up in us. And that's what the Christian are. They're in a state of grace. They don't understand it. And the Bible talks about that, but that's what it means. Instead of grace, if you punch me in the face, I'm gonna hit you back. That's grace, because you don't get the consequence. You're gonna get it, but you may not realize it. Because it said they had no fear of God means they had no fear of consequence. So you don't realize it's gonna happen. So hey, I'm getting away with this stuff. Nothing happened to me. So for 5 years they was kicking everybody's ass. Nothing happened to them, especially us, because we wasn't retaliating. But it was building up. Was damming up the consequence. Damming it up. So that means they was able to rule, right? Because that's the whole point. We wanted to have as much organization here. We didn't want a free fall. So the way that happened, we have to submit. So it wouldn't be, in consequence, they have grace and they can keep doing their thing. But they would pay for it once that dam broke, because we would dam it up. And you only can do that when you have personified things. That's why personified things, so we can go, that kicks into energy management, talking about like quality. We can't control the amount of energy, we control the quality of energy. Quality. And then had other benefits, because by doing that means it puts a lot of pressure on us. By us damming it up, that's a lot of pressure on us. And pressure causes you to transform into when you put pressure on something, that's just the way it works. It's just like when you put a heavy bag on your back, you try to shift it around. You're trying to find a way so it don't feel as heavy. So that's why diamonds, coal, put enough pressure on diamonds, on coal, right? The atoms reorganize to try to offset that pressure. The pressure's under. And it keeps reorganizing until it gets to a point where it doesn't feel that pressure anymore. But at that point, the diamonds are so structured. That's the coal so structured, it's a diamond. See, because it causes you to transform. That's happened to devils. The Islamic Empire put so much pressure on them for 1,000 years. Right? It caused them to transform, to try to adjust, because they kept fighting with them to try to adjust to that pressure. They're trying to adjust that pressure. They kept transforming, right, from one thing to another, this, trying all this kind of stuff, right? Until they finally come with democracy, all that kind of stuff, right? And the system they have now, that they had, was strong enough to withstand the pressure of Islamic. It became equal. In other words, you keep transforming until you become equal to the pressure that you're subjected to, or you can't, you're crushed. So if you can't come up with a structure that can withstand that pressure, then you're crushed. But if you do, that means you transform, and now that pressure doesn't bother you anymore. That's happened. They'll think Islamic Empire to come up with systems. The system they had for the last 5 years, they had what? Because for 1,000 years, they was fighting with the Islamic Empire, and they couldn't do anything with it. They kept whooping their ass, and they kept transforming. They transformed to a form. Now, then once they transformed, that's 500 years ago, the Islamic Empire had no power over them anymore. Hasn't had any power for the last 500 years. That's the way it works. So they put so much pressure on us more than any other nation by submitting that they turn us into gods. We had a structure, but we're going to apply the energy to make that structure. You can have a structure, you can have a Lamborghini, you're going to drive it, you're going to take care of it, or you're going to dog it. So now you've got enough money to buy a Lamborghini, but can you take care of it? So now that's where we are right now. So, but you got to take energy. It takes energy to maintain a Lamborghini. So now you got that new structure, but it takes energy to maintain that structure. They tell you, no, don't use that energy for that. Do your own thing. Go out to party, get high, everything. See what I'm saying? So the structure is there, but it's right. It's getting rusty. Right? It's breaking down. Because you're not investing in it. And that's what's happening right now. And that's why the Master Problem had to come, Elijah after that, to start getting you to start develop your, invest in your code, invest in your new structure. Because now you got the structure of God's. That's what heart cards did for you. But now are you going to do something about it? Are you going to go out here and let the cards sit there? You going to let it rust and banged up and everything else? While you out there partying and everything else? That's the situation you're in right now, brothers and sisters. The situation you're in right now. That's where I'm at here. That situation you're in right now. That's where the angel comes to tell you, okay, no. That's where the angel had 5 pillars, and that's where the messenger of the covenant comes. That's why Elijah was supposed to start the process. Start getting you to invest in yourself. Invest in your nation. Because right now we're our nation because why we're not a nation? Because we let another nation control our energy. We don't have to anymore. Because they got us, hey man, we don't control your energy. Come on, party, watch this. Come on, go watch the NFL. They got all kinds of distractions for you. Come on, let's get high, man. Let's party. They throw women at you, naked. Why do you think they told me? This is not a coincidence. Throwing the women at you naked. What do you think Sodom and Gomorrah was like? How can they get more naked than they are right now? They walk around in their panties. They walk around, in fact, it's worse than that. Because panties put panties on, right? Okay. But they got so tight, you can see between their legs and got up their butt crack and everything else. All that's to keep you distracted. To keep you from investing in yourself. Because right now, see, remember they're 2-dimensional. All they can do is produce shit. Because shit is on 2, it's not for us. And 3-dimensional, 2-dimensional stuff is shit to us. It's nothing to us. All they produce is shit. They can't produce gold. They can't produce silver. That's 3-dimensional stuff. But they like that stuff. They can't produce it. But we can. So long as they keep us down there producing it for them, that's what they want. Because no, really, they want all they got is 2-dimensional stuff shit, which we don't care nothing about. See, shit is something you don't care about, you avoid. Once you don't want that stuff anymore, because all they track you is shit. This NFL and all that shit. But you eating chitlins, oh man, shitlin's good. Well, you eat that same thing. You don't see it. Because once you start thinking mathematically, that stuff won't mean nothing to you. You say, what the hell? Because they start doing that way. When started this stuff come up? You notice this started coming into play until you start moving out off the fields. All of a sudden they start. Because what they had before that? What was their pastime before that? Burning niggas. Go check it out. They put in the paper, we're going to burn niggas this weekend. And they put in the papers. And people gather around, thousands of them. And they can't say, we're going to do a double, we're going to do 2. And rifles run and hide. Because they catch you, and they didn't care driving like kids. Everyone, let's go get them. And then they show pictures of them. They sit around and have a big picnic while they burn your ass. Castrate you and everything, they burn you up. That was their pastime. Okay? So understand that, brothers and sisters. So personification means you can dam it up. You don't have to retaliate right away. That's why it says we told us to submit. So we submit, but holding that pressure in causes us transform. Holding that weight in, they was doing to us, not right? Right? Not returning, right? What they was doing, just taking it. But then, once that dam breaks, see, because remember, the only way that could happen, you have to have personification. Because if you didn't have personification, then we would never been transformed into diamonds, right? And they would never had the rules because every time they did a bad act, they got instant retaliation. So we plan all this. I teach her everything that happened. We're in control of it. So now we elevate ourselves to God's. We held it in. We didn't retaliate. And so they had a period of grace where they had a good time. They would at a party. They'd be burning something, have parties, dancing. But now, once that process is complete, that 500 years, and now we're coming out of it, we don't need them anymore. Once you put gold into a furnace to purify it, once it's purified, you take it out. Take it out. Take it out. Go home, and you turn the furnace off. See, that's as simple as the scripture's saying, but they got your head way, not in the clouds, way down there in the depths of the shithole someplace that you can't see the simplicity of it. That's exactly what it says. We get out here and they burn them up, turn them off, burn them up, they get rid of them. They don't need them anymore. And we purified. Exactly what Scripture's saying in a nutshell. But that's impure, it gets burned up in the furnace. So that's why we personify everything for that purpose. So therefore, the consequence, because what was personified, like I said, consequence will come in all kinds of ways, but now it comes from us, so now we can contain it, hold it up, because only we can. Animals can't do that. They react immediately. We can do it. That's the gods can do that. They bottle up that consequence. Because the consequence acts immediately, so we keep it on ourselves. So Gasobe was beating ourselves. And Mark was beating ourselves, Gasobe was holding it up. That's just telling you was forced putting that energy against ourselves, not against them. But now, once that's accomplished, now they embrace, and all that what they did come back on them. And I get an analogy: if I punch you in the face every day, 10 pounds of force in the face, every day on the chest, boom, every day, once a day for a year, 10 pounds force. And, oh man, it hurt. And then an hour or so, and then you go back, you go do what you're doing. And every day, man, you got to take this punch, man. Oh, man, damn. Right? So then you got to take this, relax, or put some alcohol on for an hour, then you're okay, right? Then after a year, right? Now it's your turn. Now 10 pounds a day, or 365 days, that's 3,650 pounds of force now that you owe them. And you give it to them at once. Bam! How do you think that's going to happen? They ain't going to recover from that. And that's what Scripture says. It says, all they've done, the consequence will be done in one day to them. You understand how simple things are? I'm going to pretty much leave it there, brothers and sisters. Let me say a couple of things like that. I just want to try to get you to understand that idea. Because if you ain't enthusiastic, because you're not applying your energy to be enthusiastic. You can't just be enthusiastic if you ain't doing anything because you're not applying your energy to do it. Because you hold on to something else. You say, well, I need to hold on to this. So you get priorities. If your priority is this world's life, there's no push for you in the hereafter. The Quran tells you that. Because how? Because you didn't develop yourself. You didn't invest in yourself. You invest in this world's life. So that's what you got. And when it goes, you go with it. Let me see if I got a couple things I can talk about here. Pride. Okay, let me talk about this number close. This one here, I told you these things I've been talking about for years. I told you about abomination desolation. I got presentations out there years ago telling you that would happen. Happened with the Middle East, and that's exactly what happened. And lasts for probably a year and a half, right? And it tells you in chapter 12, Revelations called the angel called Revelations, right? One heaven and Michael's angels. So one heaven start out, phase one, abomination desolation, which occurred. Then next stage, right? Michael's angels fight with the dragon's angels. The dragon ain't got involved yet. You have to know what the dragon is. The dragon is the Sunni Islam, the house of Sard. right? And his angels are God, made God and Antichrist. America, Britain, and false Israel. And they're all going to get into it, and they haven't, all of them got into it yet. America's already enjoying, getting closer. But right now, let me say it put it this way. See, so much that I ain't talking about season stuff. That's what I'm going to talk about today, but I'm going to talk about it later on today or maybe tomorrow. But we have seasons. And remember, we went through this 500-year period. That's energy of vapor. That's like a winter. That one lasts 5 years. Now we come out of it, so they're going to spring. But they was made in the winter. They only know the winter. They don't know anything about spring, summer, night. They was creating the winter. They only know about the winter. They only know they hear something about spring. They don't know what that is. But then when spring starts coming in, that means the winter power, the power of winter starts failing. Their power is in snow and ice. That's the base of their power. Cold, snow and ice, blizzards. All that stuff starts fading. Say that's one of their weapons, blizzard. All that stuff starts fading. Icebergs. All that stuff starts fading. Why my power is fading? What's going on here? Global warming. See, global warming is not bad. It's good for us. It's bad for them. Because global warming said, man, it's going to destroy our civilization. Yeah, their civilization. Global warming means the planet's going to be, the ice poles are going to stop melting. It means more water. That means the desert's going to go away. There's going to be Earth's going to be more water. That means it's going to grow better. What the energy is getting, so forth, so on. Okay? Because that's what happened. The world got, remember I said, the more less energy you have, the colder it gets. The planet got colder and colder and colder. Some ice caps, ice ages, and all that kind of stuff. But now it's warming up. So, oh, yeah, well, for them it's bad. Because ice age was good for them. That was their period of time. But now it's warming up. And so they want to try to hold on to it. They do everything they can hold on to it. That's what's happening in the world right now. But spring is coming, they can't stop it. They cannot stop the spring, but they don't know they can't stop it. All they know is they got to stop it. They got to stop what's happening. They don't realize that's just another season. Man, we got to stop global warming. We got to stop population. We got too much population. We got to just, see what I'm saying? And capitalism, all that stuff is based on the winters. If you understand capitalism and democracy, all that kind of stuff, those are winter systems that they totally failed in the spring. I mean, if the spring comes in and there's food everywhere, right? Everything's, why would you work for anybody? Why would you have to? There's food everywhere. Hey, well, look, it's fruit, vegetables everywhere. You can just pick anything. Why would you have to work for anybody? See, that goes right there. We need a government for any food everywhere. Anybody's fighting anybody over anything. Why you gonna fight anybody? There's plenty of food for everybody. You don't need governments and militaries. This whole system just falls apart because it was designed for the winter. But all they know is they want to hold on to it. Okay? And that's what you're seeing right now. So they see it falling apart. They try to stop it. What? Let's have a ceasefire, whatever. They dammed it up to their level. They trying to dam up anything that's going to destroy this civilization. But they don't have that much power to dam. But you're going to see some of that going on. So that's what you're seeing going on right now. Because remember, they dammed up, but it's still going to keep on. It's like, let me give you this way. Say, for instance, you're in a pot of water, big old pot. You're in the water. You know, if you take a lion and put him in a cage that's big enough, he won't know it's in a cage. He won't know he's in a cage. You mean that cage big and wide enough, right? Big enough, he won't know it's in a cage. Unless he keep walking around, eventually, maybe it's a half mile by half mile, right? You never know. So say if you're in this big pot, you know, and you got fire under it. And so after a while, it get hotter and hotter and hotter. Man, it's getting hot up in here, man. So you want to cool it down, but you don't realize you're in a pot that's got a fire under it. And nothing you can do, because it's going to boil you eventually, but you don't know that. All you know is hot, so you're going to do everything you can to try to keep it cool. Getting hot, but you can't. You have to have everything you can. That's what's happening right now. They cannot stop it. The universe is contracting. Energy. Everybody's been energized. All the enemies they have for the last 50 years, all of a sudden strong. And hard. It takes more and more energy to keep them away. You see what I'm saying? So it's more conflict. Pressure's increasing. So So you know, if they try to, nothing next stop, it's gonna keep getting hot. So if they dam it up, that means once the dam breaks, it's gonna be worse. So say for instance, they say, okay, we're fighting each other, and every day I'm kicking your ass, I'm kicking more and more every day, right? So I said, let's have a ceasefire. So we have a ceasefire a week or 2 weeks, right? So say I was kicking your ass every day, twice as much the day before, right? So first day I'm kicking your ass, boom, one kick in the ass. Next day, 2 kicks in the ass. Next day, 4 kicks in the ass. Next day, 8. Let's do one like that. I said, hey man, let's have a ceasefire for 3 days, right? So now I ain't kicking your ass, right, for 3 days. Now I was 1 to 2 to 4 to 8, got there, right? So now I have a ceasefire for 3 days, right? But that means that'll be 16, 32, 64. Right? That build up. See what I'm saying? So when I ceasefire in, now you get 64, 32, and 16 add all together, get at one time, bam! You didn't do you any good. That's what's better happen. Once the ceasefire break, you think it was bad, watch. Once the ceasefire break, it's gonna break soon. It'll break. What's gonna happen is it's gonna be more dramatic than it was before the ceasefire. So I told you, I'm telling you in advance. So understand it. Understand the math behind it. They're not just doing anything. They just dammed it up. Hey, let's try to stop this heat, man. Let's stop this war before it gets. Well, you ain't stopping anything. You just dam it up. And the more you dam it, the biggest. So every day goes by, all that. What they was doing to false Israel, it's just building up. So when it breaks, they're gonna come at them. Maybe 10 times, 20 times harder they did. Stop. That's where it works. So understand, you gotta start thinking mathematically, because if you don't think mathematically, you don't see things correctly. They ain't doing, they're damming up. Let's have a ceasefire, because they're trying to stop this thing they can't stop it. They can't stop us from rising. They can stop some of you, people lost for lack of knowledge, because they keep tripping to hold on to this, hold on to world's light. But if those who love world's light, there's no point hereafter. They can do that. They can trick you to hold on to this, then you go down with them. But those that start hearing and start acting on it, start investing themselves, they move into the spring. Okay, I'm gonna see if I say one more thing and then I'm gonna close, bro. Well, I'm not gonna do that one. Elijah Muhammad's not a dummy. I'm just trying to use. See, Dan's breaking here. I'm trying to use him as a dummy. Let me go just quickly. I'm gonna talk about this more. You're talking about 24,000 years history. That's 4 seasons. See? And so right now, we in this last season, the 6,000 year, right? 6,000 year period. It's 24, each season will be 6,000 years. So we're in 6,000 year period. It's the period of Yaqub, right? 6,000, 5,000, 4,000, 3,000, 1,000, right? Okay. And so you break that down. That's what Genesis is telling you. See, that crap they're talking about, Elijah didn't say no crap like that. In Genesis, that first day, he said it was darkness covered, that was us. We covered the whole earth. And then the light came out, that was the devils. See, you look at it, oh, it's black. No, black and white. They don't say it that way, because then they couldn't say it, right? No, and then they came out of us. The light came out of the darkness. That was 6,000 years ago, right? But then they break it down 6 days, and each day was broken down 2 parts. That means each day was 1,000 years, so it's 2 parts. Each one was 500 years apiece. That's what's saying here, 500 years apiece. And then we organize, like I say, to separate the water from the dry land. When you organize, like they said, then you find Yaqub was 6,000 years ago, and then you find out that the angel was revealed 2,000 years ago, and 1,500 years ago, the Quran came and said the angel was the greater light, that's a sealed Bible, and the Quran was less light. They're actually 5 years apart. And that's exactly when they came on the sign. See? That's it. Okay, so let's go. And then now we're here, this is 5 years we're in right now, and that's the time of Adam, God, Magog, and the Holocaust. See, this That's what the Sunnis turned to. Because they said they refused to submit to Adam. Refused. We'll talk about that later. Okay? And then here, during this period of time, it says, and God says, let's make man like his image. They try to trace Adam. No, they don't call him Adam. Adam is the one that was made 6,000 years ago. That was the light that came out of darkness. Okay? But he also came on the scene. This particular Adam talking about in the Quran came on the scene 500 years ago. That's Gog and Magog that we're supposed to submit to. But the one that came, the one you see about Adam and Eve put in the garden is America. And the tree was transplanted. That we was a tree that came. They brought us over from Africa. Adam is Britain and Eve is America, right? And so they brought us over here and said, don't eat that tree. Now, don't take it out of existence, eat something, consume it. That's trying to get you to understand this, because they don't know what the hell they're talking about. Right? That's what's happening. But during that period of time, if you read it, it was that last 500 years, you go down to Genesis, the last 500 years when they said, let's make man. That means that couldn't have been that Adam, Europeans, because this Adam didn't start forming to 500 years ago. Go check it out. Read Genesis and read it correctly. That didn't come in. That's 500 years ago. Well, Europeans were here 500 years ago. They was here before that. So this Adam, this process of making this, not this Adam. No. I'm gonna use Adam. The process of this being. It don't say his name. It just says, "Let's make man our likeness and image." Let me backtrack. I'm get myself in trouble. I know somebody would say, "Hey man, you make what things." This being, it don't call him Adam. See, I'm saying Adam here because Adam would rule the Quran Adam, he ruled during this period of time. But we was the angels that submitted. It don't give us a name, it says, and that process will start 500 years ago. That's us. That's talking about us. And then next to the cup, we go home, we're going to be home next year. Home next year, brothers and sisters. Home next year. And then it says, and this was a covenant. It says, where's home? It tells you, it says, it's that seed. Farrakhan is not Abraham's seed. His father's the devil. He admits it. So that's why he despised the covenant. That's why he said you ain't going nowhere. But God said, Yah. See, it says, from the river Euphrates and the great river, from the river Egypt to the great river Euphrates, that's Arabia. Look on the map. That's what we're going to. We're going to be out here, right? By next year for sure. We're going to begin. Well, we'll be out here by next year. Some of us will be out here by the end of this year. That's elect. And this is what, but this is during affliction. This affliction will take place. It says this was at Abraham covenant. So I'm going to leave there, brothers, because I have to, okay. And let me close by this. And it says, and that seed shall all nations be blessed. Now you got to analyze that. It says that seed, if you understand what I say about energy management, it says by that seed all nations be blessed. So that means they changed the word to rich. We're gonna make all the nations rich. Who's doing that? Us. Especially Europeans. They got rich off of us. Right? They got rich off of us of our so-called slavery, because slavery is much more than what we did. I mean, no, we did much more than slavery. Look up slavery, say they'll keep rape, murder, burning, all that stuff. But during that period, we made America rich, and by inference, Europe rich, because they traded with Europe, and then they went to Africa. Our brothers did. So that's what it says. Because you can't say, remember, if the so-called people call them Jews, who said, those people say Jews are not the synagogue of Satan, tells you right there in Revelations. He said, if they was the ones that make all nations rich, how did they do that? Tell me, how had Jews made all nations rich? They didn't make us rich. So all the nations, are we rich? So all the nations shall the earth be blessed. Are we blessed? We rich? No. Did they enrich Russia? No. They enrich America? No. America's broke right now because of them trying to keep up false Israel. Okay? No, they enriched themselves. They made the Palestinians rich. Made Africa rich? So sure it's not them, but we made everybody rich. Because everybody's getting rich off what? Us in Africa, ain't they? Case closed. Assalamu alaikum.